Amidabuts, Namo Amidabuts, Namo Amidabuts, Namandavs, 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 Namandavs. Hello everyone. Today I'd like to talk about duality, a concept that can shape how we perceive life and in the process influence our actions and the decisions we make daily. As dictated by human nature, our mind tends to organize everything in either of two opposite categories. Everything is labeled as good or bad, beautiful or ugly, for example. We feel that certain situations fill us with joy or sadness, lead us to success or failure, or make us see ourselves as winners or losers. Also, due to convictions in the realm of religion, politics, or cultural background, we may feel as if we are on one side or the other of a wall that separates two large groups, us and them. To begin with, I should state that Buddhism recognizes that opposites exist, but that they are part of a reality that is indivisible. What we consider good or bad is relative and depends a lot on our perspective. We could say that what has a positive effect on us could have a negative effect on others. History is full of examples in which what is done for the benefit of a majority has a very negative effect on a minority. We see that to this day. Policies that are put in place supposedly to benefit society in general end up having a negative effect on other groups based on religion, gender, political inclination, or ethnicity. Do we have a concrete and standardized way to differentiate between beauty and ugliness, for example? Not really. Beauty is very subjective. There is no such thing as pure beauty or ugliness. Everything is an amalgamation of perfections and imperfections. That is, even that which is considered sublime can be found to have imperfections upon closer inspection. In the same way, whatever goal we set for ourselves, thinking it will result in great happiness, happiness being money, career, or fame, will bring with it consequences that, depending on our own perspective, may be positive or negative. That is reality. That is part of life. This reminds me of the story about an old farmer. For those who don't remember the story, it goes like this. There was an old farmer who had worked his crops for many years. One day, his horse ran away. Upon hearing the news, his neighbors came to visit. Such bad luck, they said sympathetically. Maybe, the farmer replied. The next morning, the horse returned, bringing with it 3 other wild horses. How wonderful, the neighbors exclaimed. Maybe, replied the old man. The following day, his son tried to ride one of the untamed horses, was thrown, and broke his leg. The neighbors again came to offer their sympathy for what they called his misfortune. Maybe, answered the farmer. The day after, military officials came to the village to draft young men into the army. Seeing that the son's leg was broken, they passed him by. The neighbors congratulated the farmer on how well things had turned out. Maybe, said the farmer again. What can we learn from this story? Well, that life presents situations that we have to accept with an open mind. Not everything can be cataloged as good or bad, wonderful or deplorable. Everything is part of one reality. It is our perspective that determines how we take a certain situation that presents itself. At work, it is very common to find this dualistic phenomenon. For many, work is a constant struggle to reach goals that, in their view, determine the difference between success and failure. Their career is no longer an activity that stimulates them and presents opportunities for growth. And by growth, I don't necessarily mean a raise or getting a more prestigious position. For these people, their career is reduced to a series of activities that they hate in many cases, but need to endure to reach that next level. Although in many cases, they have no idea what exactly they'll enjoy once they get to that level. I've seen this a lot in younger people who are yet to find a specific path in their lives. Having these goals they set for themselves at work makes them feel like they have control over something. But success or failure at work is not measured by goals and timelines that are set arbitrarily. True reality is that work is something that is experienced in the present. At work, you give the best of yourself now and are grateful for what is reaped along the way thanks to your efforts. If we force ourselves to label our work as good or bad, or something that is tolerated in the hopes of future rewards, we may reach our retirement without ever feeling that we truly reached that sense of happiness. Now, in the US, to be competitive is seen in certain circles as a desirable attribute. In sports, for example, participating in a sport can be fun, but not when we apply a dualistic perspective in which there are only two important factors, winning or losing, and we must win at all costs. I remember when my youngest son was 11 and we signed him up for soccer practice. He only went to practice and participated in weekend matches for one season. And then we stopped going for the following reasons. It was very irritating to see grown men that without any compassion made fun of kids on the opposing team whenever they made mistakes or lost a game. It seemed like it wasn't enough that their kids had won the game, they had to humiliate the opposing team. One time, I heard a man proudly saying that his son was extremely competitive. This kid was a team captain, and at his young age, probably 10 or 11, you could tell that he was a tyrant in development. He would continuously yell at his teammates during the game and would become very irritated when plays were not executed exactly as he wanted. To him, the rest of his teammates were only there to make him shine. It is situations like these where a dualistic perspective prevents us from seeing true reality. Instead of enjoying the experience, in this case just letting kids play and have fun for a couple of hours and enjoying a beautiful morning with the family, we turn this activity into a fight to the death, where the only purpose is to vanquish one's opponent at all costs. And if we can humiliate him in the process, well, even better. We need to understand that not everything is black and white. Not everything can be reduced to a pair of extreme opposites. The true challenge for us is to not focus on those extremes and to see reality in the broadest of ways. Shakyamuni Buddha's middle path teaching guides us to an understanding that extremes are to be avoided. Now I would like to end this video with the following poem. The good and the bad. Do we really understand? One reality, made up of all good and bad, all right and wrong forever. Please join me in chanting the Nembutsu, feeling grateful for our own reality and all that it contains. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namandavs, 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 Namandavs.